guy sits by the water, weaving sunlight threads in his hands.
And then in 1952, the African National Congress starts the Defiance Campaign. Volunteers begin a peaceful resistance to apartheid by breaking the law they disagree with. The peaceful protests include black people sitting on the bridges marked for the white only and being out in the city after the curfew set for blacks. And in 1959, separate homelands are created for major black groups. The government passes new laws to create separate homelands called the for the major black groups in the country. The government does this to stop blacks from being citizens of Scotland.
Later bring conflicts. So, 1852, British grant limited self-government to the Transvaal. And then at the end of 1850s, Boers proclaimed the Transvaal Republic. And then 1877, Britain annexes the Transvaal. So then after this, during this time, the Zulus were kind of in this area, and they were kind of like the big force in this area, and they were really predominant in fighting, so they were kind of like the top dogs. So when the British in 1879 defeat the Zulus in Natal, that's a big deal because that basically put British on top of everyone else, so there was almost like no stopping them almost. And so after that, there is gold and later diamonds that are discovered in the province of Transvaal. Separateness or the state of being apart. So it was a system of racial segregation in South Africa enforced through legislation by the National Party. 1962, and their goal was to provide a resting stop and like a trading area for between the different areas. And this map shows like where they settled in Cape Town. And then 1795, racial segregation in South Africa began in colonial times under the Dutch Empire and continued when the British took over the Cape of Good Hope.
If you wanna be my friend, you want us to get along, please do not expect me to.
Yugoslavia has 7 neighbors, 6 republics, 5 of the republics named after the 5 ethnic groups, 4 languages, 3 religions, 2 alphabets, and 1 dynasty.
One of us misread, what do you know?
That's a map of Yugoslavia, and the refrain explanation is the Yugoslavs' 7 neighbors were Austria, Greece, and Italy.
Somehow didn't notice friendship is
Roman Catholic, Orthodox, and Islamic, which is Muslims. The official languages were Croatian and Slovene, and the dinar was their currency. Ethnic cleansing in Bosnia, difficult for a viable nationality to be created within Bosnia-Herzegovina. It was difficult because of the large presence of Serbs and Croats, which made up 51% of the population.
Used to describe a small geographic area that cannot successfully be organized into one or more stable states because it's inhabited by multiple ethnicities. Balkanization is the process by which a state breaks down through conflicts among its ethnicities. And ethnic cleansing is the process in which a more powerful ethnic group enforces the removal of a less powerful group in order to create a homogeneous region. So if the U.S. was to be balkanized, this is what it would look like. We would have California, Dakota, Mid-America, and the northeastern states, and so on and so forth.
So ethnic cleansing in the Balkans. Since World War II, a large-scale migration has not been repeated, but in recent years, ethnic cleansing within Europe has occurred in portions of former Yugoslavia. It's the region where there's about the size of Texas that includes countries such as Albania, Bulgaria, Greece, and Romania. Yugoslavia.
Is assassinated, and he was like a Kurdish activist. And in 2011, Kurdish militants killed 27 Turkish troops near Iraqi border.
In 2013, Turkish Prime Minister and Iraqi Kurdistan Prime Minister negotiate a deal that includes an outline for direct pipeline export of gas and oil.
To spend. I didn't pay much attention first time around. Now you're hard not to notice.
In 2015, again, Kurds declared that a swath of northeastern Syria is now a separate autonomous region under Kurdish control.
In 1991, and that was in Turkey. So they're kind of taking away their culture. And
The UK agrees to a ceasefire with Iraq and begins negotiations on Kurdish autonomy. In 1985, the ceasefire between Iraq and the UK breaks down.
Near the end of World War I, the Ottoman Empire collapses, causing the division of the empire, and the Turks take over the land. And a few days later, oil is discovered, and the British forces take over the land. In 1923, Turkey is recognized as an independent nation, and the signing of the Treaty of Lausanne, and it establishes Kurdistan as a part of Turkey.
In 1928 to 1945, the Kurdish tried to.
We got tasked with ethnic cleansing and genocide in sub-Saharan Africa, which is a really terrible thing that happened as a result of, scroll down, like most things in this world, the colonization by European powers, which kind of partitions people into these weird, unlogical borders. And these different ideas are kind of what provokes this ethnic cleansing, where you have a majority trying to wipe out some minority. And so, yeah.
And then in 1992, the United States sent 7,000 troops to Somalia after 300,000 women and children died from famine and warfare. And the U.S. troops went over there because if there aren't any women and children in the country, then they won't be able to grow their population and the country will just end up dying.
And this was the clip art of the war.
But right now,
The women and children were the biggest.
Okay, and in 1994, after the president, I think, of the Rwanda, he was a Hutu, he was assassinated, his plane was shot down. So the Hutus started a genocide against the Tutsis, and around 800,000 people were killed.
And in 2003, Africans in Darfur launched a rebellion against the government because of discrimination and neglect.
In 2004, between 2006, the ethnicities fight Sudanese government. This was supposed to go with that. They were fighting because of the oil profits. They believed the oil profit, the government could be helping the people, but they were instead just keeping it for themselves.
And between 2004 and 2006, Islamic militants took over parts of Somalia.
Yeah, so Eritrea didn't really like that. They didn't really want Ethiopia imposing their will, their government, like, to impose their will on the Eritrean society, so they started a rebellion against that, and that lasted for 30 years.
In 1962, Rwanda became
And the human rights abuses consist of abduction, conscription, and the use of child soldiers. And
But the moon is out of play.
and they feared that the military defeat would jeopardize their ethnic identity.
Alright, the European Union, around like the end of the war, the European Union and Canada had joined the United States, India, and Australia in labeling the LTTE, which stands for the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Imam. They had labeled them a terrorist organization, which had made it more difficult for the group to get financing from abroad. Both sides had increasingly targeted the Sinhalese and the Tamil. Both sides had increasingly targeted the media. The government has had cracked down on all independent Tamil news sources and denies access to conflict zones for journalists. 3 journalists have been killed since 2008 because of these restrictions. Much of the country's politics in the last 3 decades had revolved around the LTTE, with successive governments attempting to wipe out or negotiate with the Tigers. But the group's downfall will open up possibilities for discussion of a whole range of other issues. And this picture shows the leader of the Tamil Tigers.
So we run into a church.
This results in the Tamils fearing that the future of Sri Lanka as a multinational state will be put in danger. This is because back in 1956, the Sinhalese leaders had made Buddhism the official religion and Sinhalese the official language of Sri Lanka. And this image shows like the military and that one.
It's like Sinhalese, right? Which is our official language.
Alright, so Sri Lanka had been the envy of many countries with their educational and healthcare systems before they had suffered from all this violence throughout the decades. Their current situation has reversed the many achievements they had made and has now damaged their country.
On the east coast area of the island, Moors are ethnic Arabs who adhere to Islam but speak either Tamil or Sinhalese.
And Tamils were in the northern part of Sri Lanka, so that's like this, orange area.
Okay, so this picture shows the percentage makeup of Sri Lanka's different ethnicities. The conflict between the two.
Mennonites were concentrated in the west central part, Sunnis in the northwest, Shiites in the south.
In 1980, Israel declared a state. Palestinian refugees began arriving in Lebanon, and in 1960, Palestinians operating from Lebanon attacked Israel, provoking even more conflict.
In 1975 to 1976, a civil war erupted, and each religious group formed an army to protect it.
This is a news clip of when Israel declared the state.
1976, Syrian troops entered Lebanon to stop the civil war. 1983, 241 U.S. Marines and 60 French soldiers.
1985, Israel withdraws from most of Lebanon and establishes a buffer zone.
This week.